Hey there, and welcome into Main Street Living. I'm Danielle Alvari.
Hey guys, I'm Quincy Carr.
Quincy, another exciting show coming up and lots of exciting things going on. I can't wait to watch the Final Four. What about you?
You know what? I was gonna be okay feeling like the number one Texas squad and Baylor was gonna repeat as champions, but they're out, so I don't know who to cheer for now. Just cheer for the
Yeah,
underdog, right?
yeah, the Tar Heels took care of that. Not very easily though. They did your Bears put up a fight for sure, but
Yeah,
lots to look forward to.
yeah, and you know, my favorite part about watching, like the March Madness and stuff is I always like to watch the last 5 minutes of any game because that's when I feel like things really pick up after 5 minutes.
That's why we need you to get you betting on these games because then you'll be interested in the whole game. You can bet on the first half. You can bet on first people to score 10 points. It makes it a lot more exciting.
No, I'm not good at betting, Danielle. I've been playing the Virginia lottery for the last 23 years and I haven't hit at all. The same five numbers, so I'm not good at betting at all.
It
So
might as well be charity at that point, right?
facts, facts. So, another important part of the whole March Madness is obviously, we talked about time change last
Yeah.
week, but now it's spring. It's the spring season, so a bunch of allergies,
I've been
uh,
sneezing. I've been sneezing.
bunch of allergies, and so many other things. But obviously, people get to see the flowers bloom, like the trees. Like one day it was just limbs, and the very next day it was like flowers. I'm like, are you kidding me? So it happens that fast. So
Yeah, it's especially nice to see all of that foliage back out. I don't know if spring is my favorite season, but I think
yeah.
I like it a lot better than winter. So I will say that.
Yeah, well, I don't want it to give me a headache, and we don't want you guys to have a headache listening to us talk about spring. So we got a great show ahead of you. Ahead today, of course, we're traveling to Rhode Island, and we're talking dogs and fleas, as well as we're heading back to school for higher learning.
We'll also talk women in leadership. We have artists and entrepreneurs. We'll finally find out if coffee is healthy. But first, do you know your local art scene? Sin City has a pretty cool one. So what's happening there cannot stay there. We have to share next on Main Street Living.
Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Now, Danielle, you and I both know how much Cheryl is a travel person, right?
Yeah, absolutely. She's a travel bug. We can't get her to stop traveling.
You got that right. Well, if you've done any traveling yourself, then you may feel like you're familiar with some of the world's greatest tourist destinations, whether it's New York, Paris, or even Sydney, Australia. But there's always parts of a city that only the locals really know.
That's right. And our next guest knows a side of Las Vegas that most of the world hasn't discovered and decided to share that story of the thriving local art scene in her documentary, 702 Unstripped. Please welcome Shannon Dorn to Main Street Living. Shannon, thanks so much for making some time for us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So, you have a variety of talents, but your true love is photography. So, how do you think being a photographer lets you see the world in a different way?
I'm not sure if I see the world in a different way because I guess I don't really know how everybody else sees the world, but I feel as though it gives me a chance to show the world what I see and what I envision. So it's definitely a form of expression and a way for me to show the world what I see versus seeing the world in a different way.
Yeah, well, you say that it's a form of expression, and you've been documenting the Las Vegas art scene with your photos and videos for quite a while now. So, Shannon, how would you describe the art scene in Vegas?
I would describe the art scene as growing. Well, let's see. The art scene here is very vibrant. It's very welcoming. It's a place that has now grown into a lot of like mom and pop shops. There's restaurants, coffee shops, and a lot of art galleries. So it's a place where a lot of locals come to be inspired, to check out local art, to eat delicious food that's by locals that are like born and raised here. So it's a really like small community, welcoming and beautiful little spot in Vegas that is kind of like a gem that a lot of people don't know about quite yet.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you said born and raised too. I was actually in Las Vegas recently. They have a restaurant called Born and Raised where people who are
Yeah.
from there started it. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
familiar.
like a lot of locals to kind of like try to keep it that vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, of course, you produced a very cool documentary about the history of artists in Las Vegas called 702 Unstripped. Why did you decide to make a film?
Well, I've been part of the art scene since the early 2000s, when it was just kind of like dirt and like galleries kind of scattered throughout. And then we have an art festival that kind of started at the same time called First Friday. And as that grew and people started coming downtown, I saw that there was like a piece of history that kind of needed to be documented. And I knew that we needed to show it before the city kind of like blew up and became bigger than it was. After Zappos kind of took over the art First Friday scene, it started to really like grow. Thousands of people started coming versus hundreds. And so I just saw that like it was like someone needed to like show what it was prior to what it's going to be.
Yeah, yeah. So, I gotta ask, can you elaborate a little bit more on the arts district there in Vegas? Like, where is it, and what will people find there?
Yeah, so the arts district specific is in downtown Las Vegas. It's kind of like near the old Fremont area.
Hmm.
Um, I would say it's like the in between Stratosphere and like Fremont Street is kind of like this own little district of art galleries and all these like skate shops and things like this. So it's kind of right in I call it the heart of the city. Um, yeah, was I
Well, more people need to discover this heart of the city. So, and a great way to do that, obviously, is also you lead bike tours around the arts district. Why is that such a great way to explore the area?
It's a great way because it is quite a distance. They call it the 18B Art District, so it's 18 blocks, which you can totally walk, but in the city where it's hot and it's downtown where there's like some sketchy people. Being on a bike is a little bit safer, and you can like explore the alleyways and all kinds of things that you probably wouldn't want to walk through, because all the alleyways are like super painted and like cool like photo shoot opportunities and stuff like that. So I guess it's a good way to just explore it on a different like level, and to do it faster than like walking.
Yeah, well, you certainly found a way to take what you've experienced and give it to the masses with your documentary, right? So, what was the goal of the 702 Unstripped documentary, and how do you feel you achieved it?
The goal was to show the world that art and culture does exist in Las Vegas, and to kind of preserve the history of it, because Vegas is known for non-historic buildings, right? We knock everything down, we build everything anew. So it was like a way for me to like preserve a little history, and just like show the world that we've been here, we're doing it. Come check it out, and then we also want to make it into a docu-series, which is like more current things happening. There's a lot of talent out here, musicians and artists of all kinds, and who really need to like be seen. So like through this documentary, we want to make a docu-series that highlights everyone specific. We interviewed over 75 people. So obviously that's hard to fit into a 2-hour documentary. So we'd like to like, extend on that a little bit.
Nice.
Absolutely. So many artists that have just been inspired by their time in the desert. So, not just a bunch of neon signs. How can viewers see your 702 Unstripped documentary?
We will have a new viewing this spring, summer, probably a few months from now, I would say like May, June, downtown Ferguson's. And you can hit up our website, 702unstripped.com. And to stay current on things, 702 Unstripped on Instagram is a good way.
Nice. Nice. Well, we certainly do appreciate you stopping by there, Shannon, and sharing that story with us and sharing the documentary. I know it's going to be awesome.
Thanks for having me, you guys.
No problem.
All right. Well, she's inspired me, right? So
Yeah.
we're gonna just keep that inspiration train going, because coming up, community college, such a bargain. We're gonna head to campus next.
Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Danielle, you may have probably heard that we are in a super hot job market these days, and local community colleges offer a flexible and inexpensive way to get the training employers are looking for.
Absolutely. And career and technical education, or CTE, combines academic and hands-on technical training, so graduates are ready to hit the ground running in their new career. Let's take a look at some of the options offered by Pima Community College in Tucson, Arizona.
It's a way for us to present a new way of education in health sciences.
We have such a wonderful facility here. Small class sizes, which is something you don't get everywhere.
What I've loved about the Pima experience are the people. I mean, the instructors are phenomenal. They really understand their stuff.
This is actually a phenomenal career that they could pursue their entire life.
If you love getting your hands dirty, if you like it, you're gonna love the program.
It's a little versatile, it's a little bit of everything. We've done garden to table, we've done introduction to culinary, we have pastry and bakeries.
Bringing together qualified faculty, instructors who are all working in the field with the latest in technology.
People who teach you who are actually doing it is super helpful because you're not just spitting words from a book at you.
We're using the exact same stuff that we're going to use in the field that we use here at Pima College.
We really are helping create the guardians or the first responders of cybersecurity.
The cyber warfare range is the best place for you to come in and get your hands dirty. It's the best place to come learn how to do things legally and the right way, so you're not caught off guard and you're not having to break any laws doing anything.
We are now getting hands-on experience while in college rather than having to wait until afterwards.
They're passionate. They want to get right in and they want to start working in their field or discipline. So it becomes our goal to connect them to those resources right away that they need in order to be successful.
It's very gratifying to know I've really put everything that I have learned in class to use. Independent films, multimedia art installations. I also have a job here in the video department.
My first thoughts when I walked in here was shock. I was most definitely shocked to see something this massive, dedicated fully to automotive. And with that shock came a lot of pride and joy, because seeing something like this makes you really excited to come here. It makes you really want to come into school every day.
Our link to the high schools and industry, our faculty with our students, and pulling it all together, it's magical. There's really no other way to put it.
Danielle, you heard him. If you like getting your hands dirty, this is the educational facility to go for you. Maybe if you want to get some college, right?
Yeah, I'm a community college graduate. I loved it. Saved so much money.
Yeah, so am I. Well, for the viewers, you can find more information all about the Pima Community College offers at pima.edu.
Quincy, I have to admit, though, I am a big-time shopper. I'm a shopaholic. But when I shop, I love to shop small. If that is you, too, you don't want to miss what's coming up right here on Main Street Living. Hey there, welcome back into Main Street Living. Quincy, what kind of shopper are you? A bargain hunter, an impulse buyer?
Probably more of a bargain hunter. I'm frugal.
More of a bargain myself as well. But no matter what your shopping style is, you want to make sure you end up with items that are unique and not necessarily what everybody else can find at the big box stores.
Yeah, well, our next guest founded and continues to run an amazingly cool community market in Providence, Rhode Island. Let's welcome to Main Street Living, Maria Taco. How you doing there, Maria?
Fine, thanks. How are you guys?
We are doing wonderful. Well, I can't speak for Danielle. I know she's.
I'm so excited for this segment.
Yeah, well, Maria, you followed your dream to start a local community market in Providence, Rhode Island, almost a decade ago. Like, what were you hoping to create?
Well, it started out as a side hustle, and I had been going to the Brooklyn Flea for many years and really wanted to recreate that sort of environment here in Providence. And so, it's really a venue where commerce and community intersects.
Nice, nice.
Well, the Providence Flea is not a typical flea market. So what is the market like today and what can shoppers find?
It's not a typical flea market, and it hasn't been, which is why we dropped the market from the name. So it's really just the Providence Flea, in the sort of in the vein of the Brooklyn Flea, as I mentioned, and the Cleveland Flea and the Berkeley Flea. So it's an indie maker and vintage market. So you will find lots of independent artists, artisans, vintage vendors, small batch bake shops, clothing vendors, graphic designers who have their own streetwear brands, handcrafted jewelry, handmade apothecary items. So it's a little bit of everything, and we also promote local nonprofits every week as well. So it's really a great mix, and I think because the vendors change every week, that's kind of what keeps people coming back to see what's new and different.
Yeah, well, you just touched on the type of vendors that you have. What does it mean to have them in the market as a way to connect to shoppers, or to connect with shoppers, I should say?
Well, they're all locals, and I think what has happened is we have lots of repeat customers. Providence is really the state is really a city state, and Providence is really the hub as the creative capital. Which is how it promotes itself. And so we see a lot of the same people who come back to, frequent the market, to see vendors who they recognize, who they've developed relationships with, who they follow on social media, and who they want to support. So, I think insofar as the kind of atmosphere that we've created, it really has become a community market in the best way.
Mm. Okay.
And obviously you're drawing a lot of shoppers. What do you think draws them to the Providence Flea?
I think that it's unique. I think that they are mostly local vendors, regional vendors. I think it's because we try really hard to recruit and find vendors that you won't see anywhere else, who kind of premiere at the Flea. They launch at the Flea. They use it as an incubator. They use it to, test products, to get consumer feedback, to see what works really. So I think, the more people that find out about it or have found out about it over the years, when they come here, they realize that it's not a typical flea market. They realize that it's local. They realize that it's all small batch and independent makers. There's nothing mass produced. There's nothing corporate. There are no home show vendors. It really is. It really is a community market where, you're going to find people that and want to support.
Yeah. So you guys also have live music. Tell us about that atmosphere.
Yeah. So, pre-COVID, we had live musicians outdoors on the boardwalk downtown in Providence. The outdoor market is really how it started. And it's an every Sunday market. And we also attracted local musicians who wanted to come and play. So we set them up on the boardwalk. It's all acoustic, so it's not super loud or really plugged in. And they also get to play for tips, and some of them have merchandise, and it just kind of adds to the to that really sort of cool Sunday vibe. It's really it's become sort of like the after brunch place to go in the summer, I think.
Yeah, it's like what Sunday should be about, is a vibe, because that's the last day before the beginning of the real work week. So yeah,
togetherness. Yeah. Well, we have to talk about too how you got here. You were very successful. You had a great stable job, and then you decided to become an entrepreneur with the Providence Flea venture. Your vendors are also entrepreneurs and small business owners. How much impact do these small businesses have on your local economy, and what does that kind of mean to you to be able to support that?
Well, I really connect with the vendors in the market because I started my own sort of side hustle that I really wanted to grow into a full-time gig. And it has become, within the past 4 or 5 years, a permanent thing for me. But, we've hosted over 2,000 vendors, unique vendors over the years since we started counting in 2016. So there's probably been many more. And I think the impact to the community is significant. Buy local is a big thing everywhere. And I think especially in Rhode Island, because we're so small and because our industry is tourism, it's probably our main industry. We do bring in a lot of tourists, and I think they really like to see those small local vendors. And I think that, the more money that people spend on these local businesses is money down the line that stays in the community, as those small vendors buy other things. It's not going to the headquarters of a big box store somewhere out of state. So I do think the impact to the community and to the local economy has been significant. We haven't been able to measure it, but with several thousand people coming to visit the market every weekend, we know that it has to have an impact.
Yeah, and with that said, you mentioned tourism. Is the market open year-round?
It is now. We started as just a summer seasonal market, and within a few years, we became a year-round market. Today, we are indoors at the new state-of-the-art Farm Fresh RI Market Hall, which is a dedicated market hall for their farmers market on Saturdays, and we program it with our flea on Sundays from September through May, and then we go outdoors because in New England we have a very short outdoor season, so we're outside from June through September.
Nice.
Where can viewers get more info about the market?
Certainly, they can visit our website at providenceflea.com or send us an email at info@providenceflea.com and follow us on social at providenceflea.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Marie, from one entrepreneur to another. I salute you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
No problem. Well, Danielle, up next, we stay right here in Rhode Island, where it's all about their signature cuisines. Don't miss it.
Welcome back into Main Street Living. Quincy, it is time for our spiciest segment of the show. One of the best things about traveling is eating the local cuisine. That might mean fish tacos in San Diego or even jambalaya in New Orleans.
Yeah, and if you're in Rhode Island, it also means hot wieners and a trip to Olneyville, New York system. Take a look.
Greg Stevens, fourth generation owner of Olneyville, New York system in Providence, Rhode Island. Everyone knows hot dogs all over the country. In Rhode Island, we call them hot wieners. Every corner of this country seems to have a local favorite way to prepare hot dogs. For Georgia, they put coleslaw on them. In some parts of the country, they put sauerkraut. And in Rhode Island, we're known for hot wieners with the mustard, meat sauce, onion, and celery. If you come in and ask for sauerkraut, we don't have it. Coleslaw, we definitely don't have it. And it's a regional thing that generations have grown up to know here in Rhode Island. The origin of coffee milk is not truly known, but we've grown up with it as a common drink. And when you mix it together with hot wieners, it seems odd to some people from other parts of the country, but it's become synonymous with what we're used to. Hot wieners, coffee milk. When I received the call about the James Beard Award, I was pretty taken back. And it truly is a tribute to our dad, who passed away 2 years ago, because he worked here for so many years and so many long hours, and he kept the tradition going. So we feel it's truly a tribute to him. It also has a lot to do with our employees, most of which have been here more than 15 years, almost all of them. And I think I give them credit as well, because it adds to the character of this place.
Cleveland, you came all this way for a dog? That's a good man.
Hi, my name is Nicholas Barrows, and I've been here 14 years.
I've been here since 1979, 33 years.
We truly work at keeping this place the same. When people come here, they know what they're going to get. Stories about this place, I could go on and on through my 40 years here.
We had a star coming here called Sherman Hemsley. I think it was like moving on up. He come in with his bodyguard, and we were telling a joke. 2 weeks later, he goes on national TV, told the same jokes that we said in here.
We have a customer that comes in here. He used to come in every day with his uncle for years, and his uncle passed away. So every time he walks in here, he orders 4 dogs, puts 3 on a plate, and 1 by itself and leaves it there. And then when he finishes eating, he leaves, but that wiener's for his uncle.
The best one has to be, and it happens more than a few times, is an airport taxi will pull up. This big guy jumps out, he comes to the bar here and he orders 4 all the way and a coffee milk, and as he's eating, he's telling us, I'm on my way to see my mother. I haven't seen her in 10 years, but I had to stop here first to have hot wieners before he saw his mother.
Quincy, I thought this was a family show. I
don't know, Danielle. You know, it would take some getting used to for me to form the words hot wieners, but you can't deny how tasty those hot dogs look. That's what we say.
Yes, absolutely. And Olneyville, New York system and their hot wieners, received the prestigious James Beard Foundation America's Classics Award, which just goes to show that food doesn't have to be fancy to taste great. You can find out more info, including menus and recipes, at olneyvilleNewYorkSystem.com.
That's right. Well, up next, ladies, it's your world. It's time to take charge. See what that's all about up next. Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Danielle, women are powerful agents of change, and it's been known that both businesses and communities benefit when women are in positions to make important decisions, right?
Absolutely. And our next guest is just one example of a woman who is using her leadership role to make positive changes in her community and the world. Please welcome in Debbie Ritchie to Main Street Living. Debbie, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me.
So Debbie, you are the managing director of Huron Group in Florida. What is the focus of your work?
So I lead a part of our business at Huron called Culture and Organizational Excellence. And we really strive to help build better culture, better engagement, better outcomes that are predominantly focused in the healthcare industry. So ultimately, patients get a better experience in their care.
Okay, well, you speak about having a better experience, and we all know that diversity is important in the workplace. In the workplace. So why is it more important to have diversity in leadership?
Well, I think we've all, particularly over the last few years, learned so much about the criticality of diversity and getting different perspectives and different points of view about things. And in leadership, we certainly need that, right? I think if we come to any challenge or opportunity with a single point of view without thinking broader about the impact it has to individuals that we're either serving or that are directly involved in that work, we're just missing a tremendous opportunity to drive to a better, more impactful outcome. And ultimately, that's what leadership is all about, right? Is driving impact.
I like that.
Absolutely. Let's talk more about leadership. What are some traits that you see in successful women that make them good leaders?
Well, certainly I think there are things I've seen in women leaders that I work with, but I would say I don't necessarily limit this to only women, right? I think the ability to listen more and talk less. I love the phrase, like, how do we make sure that we are interested in instead of just being interesting, right? How are we listening to what others need? Do we show the right amount of empathy? I think women particularly have a strength in really demonstrating empathy in the way that they lead. Authenticity, I think, is really critical. Those are just a few examples of things I think women have, but all leaders need to be mindful of.
Yeah, I think that's something my wife always says to me. I need to be more mindful, to be more of a listener, not always talking all the time. But speaking of good leadership, you serve as a state representative. Why did you decide to go into public service, and what was that like?
I think when we talk about leadership, I will tell you my own personal experience in this. Whether you're leading or whether it's community service, I think it's critical that you have a passion for what it is that you're doing, either in the work you do or in your community service. And for me, really, I chose to run for public office because I had a passion around a lot of the issues that I felt like in the state of Florida, we could be doing better. Things like education and what kind of investment were we making to our children's future? Speaking of children, I was really blown away that Florida ranks so low in children health indicators. And what could we be doing better to serve the future generation? Other issues in the area I represented, I was in the Florida Keys in South Dade County, and environmental issues understandably were top of mind. What were we doing to address those issues? How were we thinking about broader quality of life issues? And I truly had a passion for that. And takes a lot to put your name on a ballot and put yourself out there, but it's also very rewarding work when you can get in and really make a difference.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Absolutely. It takes a lot of courage, especially in this day and age. But when you left politics, you founded the Impact 100 group in Pensacola. What is the deal with that group, and why did you decide to focus on giving back in this way?
Yeah, so I hope for those who are watching today, get online and learn more about Impact 100. It is a global organization. I was the founding president of the Impact 100 organization in Pensacola, all women's organization, really designed around a giving circle. Members donate $1,000. They pool those resources and do high impact grants and giving in a community around 5 core focus areas. I chose to start that organization with other women leaders because, again, back to that desire to make a difference. I was out of public service, but the desire to want to give back, see change in a community, impact nonprofit organizations who are really spending every day trying to impact people and needs in a community was something that was just really important to me. And impact organizations all over the country are doing that, predominantly women focused, always around how do we drive impact to make a difference. So if you have a heart for giving, and I think particularly towards effective philanthropy, this could be an organization for you.
Wow. You said a pretty key phrase there. I like that, the desire to make a difference, right? And what makes Impact 100 feel different than other philanthropic organizations?
That's a great question, Quincy. And one of the things that really appealed about the organization to me is that I mentioned members give their money to become a part of the organization. Our organization is all volunteer driven, meaning every dollar of their contribution goes directly to the nonprofit. And all of the back end support to support the organization is driven by volunteers. To me, that is effective philanthropy at its very best. The fact that we brought in all women to do this became something that really became important to me. The organization was built on women defining their level of involvement. So if you're a busy working mom and you don't have much time for community service, you could give your money, you could learn about the organizations that were driving impact in the community, and that's all you needed to do. However, perhaps you were a woman who had more time, more capacity to work behind the scenes to keep the organization going. There's a role for that woman too.
Nice.
So how can viewers get in touch with you or find out more information about Impact 100?
Well, if you want to get involved, I think you can go to Bing or Google, look up Impact 100. Again, there is a global organization. Go to impact100global.org, or maybe even search in your own community. We've been involved in impact in the Pensacola community for many years, and there are still women who say, I hadn't heard of that. So just search. Seek a way that you can directly get involved, whether it's Impact 100 or some nonprofit in your community. your talent, your time, your contributions are needed. Find a way to make a difference.
Find a way to make a difference. Awesome. Thank you so much, Debbie, for stopping by.
Hey, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
No problem.
Well, Debbie's got me all riled up and ready to make an impact, but sometimes I need a little something to get me going first. So up next, is coffee healthy? This is a very key question. We'll find out.
Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Danielle, with the recent time change and this whole spring forward thing, right? You might be finding yourself reaching for your coffee cup a little more than normal.
Yes. But the question is drinking coffee good for you? Because it seems like there's a lot of information out there, but fitness expert Jim White is here to break it down for us.
Hi, I'm Jim White, registered dietitian and certified personal trainer. Today I'm here at Roast Rider Coffee with owner Wayne Richmond to talk about the benefits of coffee.
Hi, Jim. Good to be on this show with you. We have a good, very strong actually, group of partners that we work with. They do the sourcing and roasting of the beans. We prepare those. Alongside of that, by having clean equipment and having a water filtration system like we have, we can produce what amounts to one of the better cups of coffee that you can get.
And I think it's really important because there are a lot of antioxidants and benefits. So let's talk about some of the benefits that people might not think when it comes to coffee and that are actually helping improve people's wellness.
There are so many benefits now, and you can read about them from anywhere, from Johns Hopkins to Harvard University to the National Institute of Health to the Mayo Clinic. It's good for your vital organs. It reduces inflammation. It basically is one of the better things that you can drink. And now they've proven that you can drink up to 5 cups a day. Coffee has a lot of nutrients in it, and people don't really realize that. It can cut down on the potential for you to get Alzheimer's and dementia. It's good for your heart, which again, that's a misconception. People thought, okay, caffeine, racing, it might affect my heart. It's actually very short term.
In those doses under 500 milligrams of caffeine, that's where you're seeing some of these benefits. And I come here all the time. I love it here. And I believe you should indulge it every once in a while. So I love the lattes that have, the whole milk and the syrups. But also a thing I love about a place like this is you can get coffee there's 0 calories. So you can have, if you're trying to watch your weight or you're trying to indulge. So Wayne, thanks for being here with us today. Your passion of everything coffee just exudes from you.
Thank you.
I think the important note is to stick under that 500 milligrams of coffee a day. There are a lot of benefits of caffeine, and I think we need to explore those. Also talk with your doctor. Not every person has the same tolerance for caffeine. If you need more information and fitness and nutrition tips, visit jimwhitefit.com.
Quincy, I did not expect Jim White to come on here and tell us that coffee was healthy.
Yeah, clearly I'm not a coffee drinker, but I never would have guessed how healthy it is to drink, including reducing inflammation. That is very amazing to me. But for more information, you can go to jimwhitefit.com.
And coming up straight ahead, more Main Street Living. Welcome back into Main Street Living, Quincy. Another great show in the books. We were still missing our third wheel, Cheryl, of course, and we're tricycles, so we really can't operate without her.
I like it. Well, we definitely learned a lot on the show today. Hot wieners and also coffee is good for you. So
spicy cool. Content.
Yeah, and if you missed it or any other episode, you can always go to our COTS Contour app to catch up on that stuff. You like it? Catch up?
Yeah. Oh, I see what you did there. Well, there's always new shows Mondays at 9 as well.
That's right. Well, we'll see you all right back here again next time for another exciting show on the main street. Take care.